Okay, I'm going to make this quick because I'm exhausted and I've just been singing Soprano 1 in choir all night, but I don't have time to talk about this tomorrow, and I know it's on people's minds. There has been an update with the Dan Wootton scandal, specifically from a police standpoint. This is from The Guardian. Dan Wootton cleared of alleged criminal behavior after 6-month investigation. Metropolitan Police and Police Scotland decide to take no further action against the broadcaster. Let's be very clear. The police have decided after months of investigation to not proceed forward with charges against Dan. That could be for a number of reasons, but presumably, it is because, based on the evidence that they have, they do not feel confident in moving forward with a criminal case. That doesn't mean that there won't be civil cases brought forth. The Met and the Scotland police are not saying that he did not do these things. They are saying that they did not find criminality in what he did, or there is not enough evidence to move forward. But that doesn't negate the morally reprehensible things that he did and continued to do as he climbed the journalism ladder in the British media. Not to mention, there's not a great history of justice being served when it comes to people doing bad things. Take the illegal information gathering of the late 90s, early 2000s. Piers Morgan was never criminally charged during that time, despite the fact that now what we've learned in the judgment between Prince Harry and the Mirror Group, that there is no way that Piers Morgan and other top executives couldn't have known about what was going on and or participated in it based on evidence given. Another stunning example is Rebekah Brooks, who was ultimately charged in the phone hacking scandal and found not guilty on all counts, which is shocking to me, especially the fact that the fall guy ended up being Andy Coulson, who was her deputy editor for some time. A lot of what Dan has said through his lawyer is about cancel culture and about how, things can take off on social media and ruin your life. I think for once, we might just be seeing someone held responsible for their actions. When the news about Dan Wootton first broke, there were a lot of journalists that came out and said this was basically one of the worst kept secrets in Britain. And even though he lost his column at the Daily Mail, he's no longer on GB News. I highly doubt this is the last we are going to see of Dan Wootton. He is going to be fine because all of these men that scream about cancel culture are never actually canceled. Remember, this is only about sex offenses. This does not absolve him for paying for stories. What happened today is that the Met Police and the Scotland Police cleared Dan Wootton of alleged criminal behavior. And that will be enough for some. But for some, it won't be enough. And it shouldn't be enough. Even if what he was doing wasn't technically criminal, or they didn't have enough to charge him on that, it was wrong. And it was disgusting. And it hurt people and it ruined people's lives. And it's the kind of culture that people have been discussing about in the British media, specifically the tabloids, that needs to stop. I just went to Byline Times' Twitter profile. I could not find any update on this, although I admittedly only scrolled for so long. I would expect to hear from them at some point, but I also have to imagine their legal is really paying attention to this and considering if Dan Wootton potentially sues Byline Times. Which, remember, with the burden of proof in the UK, burden of proof would be on Byline Times to prove that what they said was real and truthful. As we saw from their investigation, there are plenty of receipts that they showed us. Who knows what else they have that they have not shown? Anyway, those are just some initial thoughts. Stay tuned for more.